I want to shout this news from the top of my lungs, but in order to save your eardrums, I'm going to announce this very calmly. I am writing a book. Let's just sit with that for a second. I am so excited to be officially announcing this. I have definitely teased this in a few of my other reading videos, but this is the first time that together you and I are sitting down to chat through this book that I'm creating and to go on this writing journey together. And so for that reason, this feels like a very major milestone. And I'm so happy to be filming this also on the first day of autumn. So we've got our cozy fall background, and you can't see it from here, but I have my little mug of tea and it looks like a pumpkin, the mug. So super fun, embracing the fall vibes. We're also rapidly losing daylight. So you know it's fall, you know the seasons are changing, winter is coming, but that's not the point. The only reason I bring that up is because it means that we are in for some cozy writing vibes for the upcoming book vlogs. So I just feel like it's the perfect time. It's such serendipity. And I didn't even plan this, it just so happened. But anyway, let's cut to the chase. I am writing a contemporary romance novel set in the Hudson Valley on a luxury resort. I am in draft 1, and so I'm still sorting everything out. I mean, I have it pretty laid out in my head of what's going to happen, but obviously in draft 1, a lot of things can change. As far as my progress so far, I am about 10,000 words into the book. A little bit over, actually. And it's quite funny because I was further along in the book, but I've had to rework the setup phase quite a bit. I had a few different versions of how things played out, because while I said in my head I have laid out what's going to happen, I haven't fully plotted this novel. I'm definitely going to attempt to pants it a bit more. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I started pantsing this novel and then I got self-conscious and unsure and insecure about the direction that I was going in. And so I tried to rewind, change the first act, and plot it out more. And once I did that, took a second pass at everything and changed the structure, changed what was happening, I realized that I'd messed it up. I'd convoluted the point and it was not as good as the original draft. So I'm now going back to the original draft, including some of the elements that I liked from my second pass and kind of like morphing them together, but staying with the essence of my original pantsed version. And with that being said, since that first version has worked out for me so well with this setup portion of the novel, I'm going to just attempt to continue pantsing it. And I use that term loosely again because I have major touch points, major beats that I'm hitting. I am following the Save the Cat beat sheet. I have things figured out. It's just not on a very granular level right now. And I think that is going to work for me. At least it's working for me so far. The other thing that I'm doing that is a little bit unorthodox is I'm kind of editing as I go. I hope it's a mistake. I'm just a rookie at this. I don't really know if it is a mistake, but right now it feels best to me because knowing my personality, if I didn't edit as I went along, I think that I would end up with a really rough first draft and I would be able to cheer and be like, yay, I finished. And that is such an accomplishment and a feat of it in and of itself. However, I think that having this big mess would overwhelm me so greatly that I feel like I would just kind of give up. And I want to set myself up for success in my future edits by ensuring that it's not a mess to begin with. And of course, the first draft is always going to be messy and it's not going to be perfect and there are going to be more edits that need to be done. But I just want to make sure that, you know, as I'm catching some of these big things that I want to change or adjust, I'm making those adjustments as I go so that I can properly see how that change snowballs the rest of the narrative. Well, it is officially dark and it is, what time did I even start writing before? I think it's about maybe literally 2 hours later. I'm not sure. But here's the scoop. I wrote for 15 minutes and then my dog really wanted dinner, and her and I were having some trouble with her feeding schedule. I'm not sure what it is, but she's gotten all off. And so I should have at least had a 30-minute sprint, but I didn't want to leave her hanging, so I fed her dinner a little bit early. And then, you know, our nighttime routine started and she needed to go for a walk after that. We ended up running into some of her dog friends outside and we were out there for about an hour. We just got back in and I had started my timer for just another 15 minutes so that I at least wrote for 30 minutes today, which is wild to say. But she is now sitting at my feet wanting to play with her toy. And again, you know, her dinner schedule is a little bit off, but it is her schedule to play after dinner. Hence why I only was setting myself up for a 15-minute sprint because I knew it was going to be a stretch. I only got through about 10 minutes of that 15-minute sprint. And this little one wants to play and I want to play with her and I want to stick to her schedule. So this is just a lesson in knowing what time frame in your schedule works best to write. This was a really good learning lesson for me because I personally still have more writing left in me. I know I have more that I could write, but this time frame is obviously just not going to work for us. And I'm going to try to start writing in the morning as I'm building a writing habit. And I think that waking up early when she's still tired and sleepy, because she does most of her napping in the morning, will be what works best for us. So all that to say, I don't want to discount the fact that I wrote for like 25 minutes today and I got over 400 words. So I still made progress on the book. I touched the book today. That is something that I'm still very proud of. I didn't wait until the circumstances were perfect to work on this thing. I still got some time in with the novel and that means progress. So I wanted to check in and give like a really honest update to let you guys know that this day did not necessarily go how I planned at all, but that's just reality. And I'm excited to find a schedule that works best for me and bring you guys along on the journey. So tomorrow I'm not gonna write. Tomorrow is Tuesday and I have ballroom dance lessons on Tuesday and it's really hard for me to go from work to those lessons. And so that basically is my whole day. So Tuesday's never a writing day for me. So I will check in with you guys on Wednesday and I'm going to try to wake up early and get some writing done in the morning and see what we can accomplish. So let's do that. Oh my gosh. This week has flown by. Yes, it's been almost a week since I last checked in. The last time we chatted was on Monday and it is now Sunday. And I just want to say, first and foremost, just because I haven't checked in doesn't mean I haven't been writing. I'm actually really happy with the amount of writing that I have done this week. It's more than I would typically get done in a week. I wrote Monday, as you guys saw. Tuesday I had off for my ballroom lessons. Wednesday I wrote. Thursday I did not because I had my rec kickball league. Friday I wrote. And then Saturday I did not write, but I took some time to print out some photos from Pinterest that I'd curated for my mood board for the book. I printed those on some photo paper, cut them out by hand, and put them on my bulletin board that I have in this office. And that's something I've been wanting to do for quite a while and I've just never gotten around to. But I finally did it and honestly super pleased that I did. I think it's really nice to have a physical representation of the book in my writing space, especially because like, yeah, I can have it on my computer, but just to have it in my physical space, to walk past it and see. And I think there's something really motivating about that and really inspiring. And I'm happy to have that there as kind of like, you know, just when I see even a glimpse of it, it makes me think of the story. And I think being as immersed as possible in the story is only going to benefit the book more. So all that to say, I've actually kind of ended up writing every other day this week, which is great for me personally. I will say, because I'm kind of in this redrafting period where I'm reworking the initial chapters of the book, my word count hasn't changed too much. I think I only added about maybe like 500 words to the book, but I am feeling so proud of these initial chapters. And I'm feeling like we're heading in a direction that I want to go. The work that I'm doing on these chapters is drastically improving just the content of the chapters and also the flow of the story. So I know that I'm building such a strong foundation by going back and doing these edits and actually kind of like rewrites. So I'm content with that. I'm not focusing on word count so much in this phase because it's just not an accurate representation of how much work I'm putting into the book. I don't know if you can hear Poppy, but she's like doing some crazy things under the table right now. So if you can hear her, I'm so sorry. But let me just pull up the book because I want to give you guys kind of an idea of what I've been working on and how far along in the book I am, because I know I haven't gotten into the details with you guys yet. So far I have chapter 1, which I've done my second draft of, and we're just shy of 2,000 words there. So pretty much done. Then we have chapter 2. I do see immediately I have one set of brackets where I need to fill in a little bit, but besides that little bracketed section, chapter 2 is basically done, and we're at 2,300 words there. And this is actually draft 3 of chapter 2, which is a little bit crazy to say out loud, but that one took some reworking. Then we have chapter 3, which is actually a chapter I'm still currently working on. So it's actually crazy. I feel like I'm further along than chapter 3, but I guess I'm not. But I'm at 1,900 words for chapter 3, and I still have more to edit here. I will finish this by the end of the day. And this is currently, again, the third draft of chapter 3. So a little bit wild there. Then I just wanted to say I also have the second draft of chapter 4 done. I have the first draft of chapter 5 done, and I have the first draft of chapter 6 done. So after I finish up the third draft of chapter 3, I just need to take a second pass through 4, 5, and 6, and then I'll get on to writing the first draft of this novel as usual. I'm just dedicating a lot of time to making sure